Hello everyone. Today I am going to start new chapter from your syllabus, that is drugs acting on CVS, that is cardiovascular system. Drugs acting on cardiovascular system. In this chapter again there are different classes. Out of them today I am going to start antihypertensive agents. In antihypertensive agents there is a series of lectures. In today's lecture, I am going to discuss about antihypertensive agents, lecture 1. In today's lecture, we will discuss about introduction to hypertension, etiology of hypertension, and classification of antihypertensive agents. First of all, what is antihypertensive agents? The agents that lowers blood pressure, right? Antihypertensive agents are the agents that lowers blood pressure, and they lowers the blood pressure. That's why they are used in management of hypertension, right? So antihypertensive agents are the agents which lowers the blood pressure and used for the management of condition of hypertension. Now what is hypertension? Hypertension is defined as a condition in which systolic and diastolic pressure increases, or in short increase in blood pressure. Now what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of blood vessels. What happens when blood flows inside the blood vessels? They exert or produces the forces on the wall of blood vessels, right? Due to generation of force on the walls of blood vessels, there is a generation of pressure, right? And this type of pressure which is observed in blood vessels is known as blood pressure. There are two types of blood pressure: systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. Now, what is systolic blood pressure? Systolic blood pressure generated when the left ventricle of the heart pushes the blood into aorta, right? When left ventricle of the heart pushes the blood into aorta, the pressure generated is known as the systolic blood pressure, right? When the heart pushes out the blood after the purification or oxygenation of blood inside the heart, right? So now heart pushes out the blood into the aorta. Aorta is the larger or largest artery which distributes the oxygenated blood throughout the body, right? So first heart pushes out the oxygenated or purified blood into the aorta, and then aorta is distributed the blood, purified blood throughout the body, right? So when heart pushes out the blood into the aorta, and at that time pressure generated in this aorta is known as the systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. When the heart is resting after the ejection of the blood, right? As we said or discussed in systolic blood pressure, heart pushes out the blood. So when heart is resting after the ejection of blood, then pressure within the arteries is known as the diastolic blood pressure, right? After the ejection of the blood from the heart, during that time, pressure generated in arteries is known as the diastolic blood pressure. Normal range of blood pressure, normal value of the blood pressure is 120-80 mmHg. 120 is the systolic blood pressure and 80 mmHg, that is the diastolic blood pressure. This is the normal systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Now, see the definition of hypertension in terms of blood pressure value, right? Hypertension is a state in which systolic blood pressure increases more than 140 mmHg and diastolic blood pressure increases more than 90 mmHg. Right? So when systolic and diastolic blood pressure increases then 140 and 90 mmHg respectively, then that condition is known as the hypertension. Right? And the drug or agents which are useful for the management of this type of condition is known as the antihypertensive agent. Now, etiology of hypertension. Right? There are the different factors, various factors which contributes to less or more extent to the state of hypertension. Right? Because of different factors, hypertension can be generated. Right? Here, different 5 factors is given. First one is neural factor. It includes overproduction or incomplete destruction of sympathomimetics. Right? Neural factor word indicate that factor related to the nervous system or neurotransmitters. Right? So, as we know that effect of the sympathomimetic or sympathetic chemicals, sympathetic amines, sympathetic neurotransmitter onto the hypertension or on heart system. Right? As we know that sympathomimetic cause the stimulation of the heart and related events. Right? So, when concentration of the sympathomimetic increases into the blood, then it increases the blood pressure. Right? Now, there are again different causes or reason by which concentration of the sympathomimetic increases. Right? Here written that overproduction. Right? Because of any reason, overproduction of sympathomimetic increases the blood concentration of that compound, and or incomplete destruction. Right? And or incomplete destruction. Right? If there is a production is normal but destruction of the sympathomimetic is not properly done, then production is continuously done normally but destruction is not done properly, then again concentration of the sympathomimetics inside the blood increases. Right? Again, other factors like stress or emotion condition. In stress and emotional condition, excessive sympathetic outflow occur. Right? That cause this type of condition cause the excessive secretion of sympathetic neurons. Right? So, excessive sympathetic outflow from the brain may result, and that lead to an increased cardiac output. Right? All over the increasing blood concentration of the sympathomimetic lead to the increasing cardiac output and elevation in the peripheral resistance. Right? And these both condition, increasing cardiac output and increasing peripheral resistance, combinedly cause the increasing blood pressure, that is hypertension. Right? The abnormal levels of noradrenaline, adrenaline, dopamine, these are the catecholamines, sympathomimetic neurons. Right? Catecholamines generally known as. And they are noradrenaline, adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin. Right? This type of neural factor may play a peripheral as well as central role in activation of vasomotor. Right? Centrally placed vasomotor center is activated by this type of neural factor, and it will lead to increasing blood pressure. Right? That is hypertension. Right? Now, usually agents which block the effect of sympathomimetic amines are useful to treat hypertension that is caused due to neural factor. Right? When hypertension is generated through this neural factor, then drugs that block the effect of sympathomimetics can be used for the management of hypertension. Right? So it is the therapeutic approach. Next factor is hormonal factor. It includes renin-angiotensin levels and vasopressor substances. Now, renin-angiotensin system or renin-angiotensin level is an important factor which involved in the management of normal blood pressure. Right? When in normal condition, when decreases the blood volume, and that will lead to the decrease in blood pressure, that automatically activate the renin enzyme, right? And almost renin-angiotensin system, right? That activate the renin-angiotensin system, right? So that will lead to the increase in blood pressure to the normal level, right? This is the normal biochemical reaction inside the body, right? When blood pressure drop out, then naturally renin-angiotensin system get activated and it raises the blood pressure to the normal level, right? But in some circumstances or some condition, this system activated more, right? Or get overactivated, right? In this type of condition, blood pressure will increases, right? So one hormonal factor is that renin-angiotensin level. Then other vasopressor substances like arachidonic acid, different metabolites, as well as prostaglandin, corticoids, then kinins, right? This type of vasopressor substances also play an important role to increase the blood pressure or cause the hypertension, right? So when hypertension is generated because of this type of factor, hormonal factor, then agents which can block the effect of this renin-angiotensin system that are useful for the management of hypertension, right? Next one is electrolyte factor. It is also important factor. It includes water and salt retention, right? And this occur when kidneys undergoes the inadequate function, right? Kidneys undergoes inadequate function. Their kidney cannot perform its function adequately, right? The inability of the kidney to excrete out an adequate normal amount of water and electrolyte, that is salt, from the body, right? Then it will lead to the water and salt retention, right? Because of the inadequate function of the kidney, there is a chances of water and salt retention. And retention of water and salt, that is electrolyte, lead to the increase in blood volume, right? And again, increase in blood volume lead to increase in cardiac output, right? When blood volume increases, it leads to the increase in cardiac output, and that lead to the increase in peripheral resistance, and increase in peripheral resistance leads to the increase in blood pressure, right? This is a chain process, right? When water and salt retention occur, then it increases the blood volume. Increased blood volume increases the cardiac output, and increased cardiac output increases the blood pressure, right? That exert the force on the heart and increases the blood pressure, right? So direct acting vasodilators are diuretics are useful for the hypertension, that is because of electrolyte factor, right? When hypertension is due to the increase in blood volume, or that is because of the electrolyte factor or inadequate function of the kidney, then diuretics are used. Diuretics cause the increase the excretion of electrolyte and water from the body, right? Next, fourth one is vessel wall factor, right? It includes structural changes in blood vessels. Now what happened? The smooth muscles of the smooth muscles present in the blood vessel, that is the vascular smooth muscles, right? Vascular smooth muscles are highly sensitive to changes in the cardiac output, right? Increase or decrease in cardiac output that affect the structure of the vascular smooth muscles, right? That may cause the thickening of the wall of the vessel, right? That may lead to the changes in cardiac output, may lead to the thickening of the wall of blood vessels, right? And thickening of when thickening of the blood vessels occur, then it causes the increase in peripheral resistance, right? As the thickening of the blood vessels occurs, so what happens? Passage for the blood flow through the vessels decreases. Passage for the blood flow in the vessels decreases. That will lead to increase in the peripheral resistance and lead to the increase in blood pressure, right? So, in blood hypertension that is generated because of this type of factor, then direct vasodilators can be used. Direct acting vasodilators can be used to manage the hypertension condition. Next one is genetic factor. It is the nothing but the hereditary factor. If parents are hypertensive, right? If parents are the hypertensive, then there is a increased sensitivity and susceptibility to the various etiological factor by offspring or their children, right? So it is the genetic factor, right? This all factor helps or provide the basis for the various therapeutic approaches to treat the hypertension. Now, classification of the antihypertensive agents. Mainly, antihypertensive agents are classified in 4 classes. These 4 classes are main classes. First one is drugs acting on sympathetic system, vasodilators, drugs acting on renin-angiotensin system, and diuretics. These 4 are the main classes of antihypertensive agents. There are different subclasses are under these main classes, right? Each class have the different subclasses. So we see the one by one classification of these main classes. First one is drugs acting on sympathetic system. This class have again different 7 classes, subclasses. First one is central sympatholytics, right? Drug acting on sympathetic system have the different 7 subclass. First one is central sympatholytics. Examples are methyl-dopa and clonidine. Then adrenergic neuron blockers. Second subclass is adrenergic neuron blockers. Examples are guanethidine and reserpine. Third subclass is ganglionic blocking agents. Examples are trimetafen and guanoxane. Fourth subclass is alpha-1 adrenergic blocking agents. Examples are prazosin and pentolamine. Let's see in this name of subclass, all are affecting the sympathetic system, that is adrenergic system, right? Fifth subclass from this drug acting on sympathetic system is alpha-2 adrenergic receptor agonist. Example is guanabans. Sixth class is beta and alpha adrenergic blocking agents, right? Mixed acting agent, alpha and beta are the receptor or adrenergic receptors, right? So the agents that block the both receptor beta and alpha, examples are labetalol and carvedilol. Seventh class is beta adrenergic blocking agents. It have again 2 subclass. First one is non-selective beta blockers. It includes propranolol, sotalol, timolol and nadolol. Second subclass of beta adrenergic blocking agent is selective beta 1 blockers. Examples are atenolol, metoprolol and prectolol. Right? So these are the different 7 classes of the drugs acting on the sympathetic system, right? Which are first one is central sympatholytic, second one is adrenergic neuron blockers, third one is ganglionic blocking agent, fourth one is alpha 1 adrenergic blocking antagonist, then sixth one is alpha 2 adrenergic receptor agonist, then beta and alpha adrenergic blockers, and last one is beta adrenergic blocking agents, right? So these are the subclasses of drug acting on sympathetic system, right? This is the first class of antihypertensive agent, and it has the different 7 subclasses. Now, structures of this first class drugs including in this first class. First class is central sympatholytic, methyl-dopa and clonidine. See, in the structure of methyl-dopa, it is the catecholamine derivative, right? It has the structure like the catecholamine. Phenyl ring having the 2 OH group at 1,2 position or ortho to each other is known as the catechol, right? Catechol. And to the side chain amine group is present, that's why catecholamine. Then clonidine have also phenyl amine structure, and inside chain also it has the heterocyclic ring, that is imidazoline ring, right? Next subclass is adrenergic neuron blockers, reserpine and guanethidine, right? We are repeating the classification with structure, right? So you can revise the classification. So adrenergic neuron blockers, it is the reserpine and guanethidine, right? It is the alkaloid. Reserpine is naturally occurring product, that is the alkaloid. It have the indole ring, right? Then guanethidine, it has the heterocyclic ring, that is azokane, right? Or octahydroazosine, also known octahydroazosine, or it is the azokane, 8-membered heterocyclic ring with 1 nitrogen atom, and it is fully saturated. There is no unsaturation or no double bond, pi bond present in this ring, right? So it is azokane ring, right? So it is a guanethidine derivative, and its inside chain to the heterocyclic ring, it is guanine molecule is present. This C double bond N, NH2, NH2, that is guanine molecule, right? So it is known as the guanethidine drug. Next one is ganglionic blocking agent. See example trimetaphane and guanoxane, right? In trimetaphane, it has the 2 phenyl ring, and which is attached to the imidazolidine on ring. This one is imidazolidine ring, right? Imidazolidine, that means 5-member ring with 2 nitrogen atom at 1,3 position and fully saturated, that is imidazoline, right? And to the imidazoline, 1 ketone group is present, right? That is C double bond O, that's why ONE, imidazolidine ring. Then guanoxane, it also contains the guanidine like previous structure, right? Guanidine molecule attached to this aromatic ring. Okay. Next one is alpha adrenergic blocking agent. Example prazosine and phentolamine. Prazosine have the pyrimidine ring attached to the phenyl ring, right? Or benzene ring, that is benzpyrimidine ring, and it is the piperazine ring, right? Then phentolamine contain the phenol molecule. See phentolamine, right? It contains the phenol plus amine, right? Phenol and amine to the side chain in phenol, and also contain the heterocyclic ring imidazoline ring, right? Next one is alpha-2 adrenergic receptor agonist, that is guanabans. It also contains the guanidine molecule, right? Then beta and alpha adrenergic blocking agents, labetalol and carvedilol. It contains the phenyl ring with the OH group and CONH2, that is hydroxybenzamide, right? This one is hydroxybenzamide ring, and it has the side chain which contains the amine function, right? Then carvedilol, it contains the phenyl ring, which is 2-phenyl ring, which is a part of the imidazoline ring, right? Pyrrolidine ring, not imidazoline. It is the pyrrolidine ring, right? And contain the 1 OH group, right? That indicate the OL, presence of the hydroxyl group, alcoholic group. Then beta adrenergic blocking agent. It has the two subclass, non-selective and selective beta blockers. Non-selective beta blockers are propranolol and timolol, right? Propranolol have the naphthalene ring in structure, right? And inside chain alcohol group and amine group, right? Secondary amine group and alcohol group. While in timolol, again it has the hydroxyl group and secondary amine group, and here in place of aromatic structure naphthalene ring is present, and here 6-membered heterocyclic ring with oxygen and nitrogen, right? That is oxoazine ring is present, and here thioimidazole ring is present, right? In beta 1 selective blockers, atenolol and metoprolol, both have same side chain. See here OCH2, CHOH, CH2NH and isopropyl group, right? Attached to this secondary amine nitrogen, right? Here to the phenyl in other side, in atenolol, phenyl ring have the CH2CONH2 group, that is acetamide group, right? Acetamide group. And in metoprolol, here CH2OCH3, that is ethyl methyl ether side chain, right? So in metoprolol ether side chain, and in atenolol there is a amide side chain, right? Then second main class of antihypertensive agent is vasodilators. It includes mainly two classes. One is direct vasodilators and second one is calcium channel blockers. See, subclasses of direct vasodilators are arterial dilators. Examples: hydralazine. Second subclass of direct vasodilators is balanced vasodilators. Example is minoxidil. Third one is arterial dilators. That is the arterial and venous dilators. Sorry, not only arterial dilators, arterial and venous dilators. That is example is sodium nitroprusside. Right? Now, subclasses of calcium channel blockers include different 4 class. First one is dihydropyridine. Examples are nifedipine, amlodipine, felodipine, nicardipine and nimodipine. Second one is diphenyl alkylamine. Example verapamil. Then benzothiazepine include diltiazem, and fourth subclass of calcium channel blockers is diaminopropanol. It includes bepredil. Right? So these are the vasodilators. It has 2 classes, direct vasodilators and calcium channel blockers. Right? In direct vasodilators, there are 3 subclasses: arterial dilators, balanced vasodilators, and arterial and venous dilators. Right? And in calcium channel blockers have the 4 subclasses: dihydropyridine, diphenyl alkylamine, benzodiazepines and diaminopropanol. It is based on the chemical structure of the calcium channel blockers. right? Dihydropyridine have the common structure dihydropyridine. Verapamil contain the diphenylamine structure. Diltiazem contain benzothiazepine structure, and bepriptyl contain diaminopropanol structure, right? Propanol structure, sorry. See the structure of different direct vasodilators include arterial dilators, that is hydralazine. It contains the hydrazine molecule. NH2 is known as the hydrazine molecule, which is substituted, right? Which is substituted with side chain or end that is attached to the phenyl ring, right? That is hydralazine. Then balanced vasodilator minoxidil, it have the piperidine ring, right? This one is piperidine, which is attached to the pyrimidine heterocyclic ring, right? Last one is arterial and venous dilators include sodium nitroprusside. This is the structure of sodium nitroprusside. Next subclass of vasodilator is calcium channel blockers. Now in calcium channel blockers there are 4 different subclasses. First one is dihydropyridine, right? In all compound of this class dihydropyridine have the common structure dihydropyridine, right? We know that what is pyridine ring. Pyridine ring is the 6-membered heterocyclic ring with 1 nitrogen atom and 3 pi bond, right? In 3 pi bond. See in all structure, there are 2 pi bond. That means 1 pi bond is get hydrogenated, right? There is a hydrogenation of the 1 pi bond. That's why dihydro, right? So see in nifedipine, amlodipine, felodipine, nimodipine and nicardipine have the dihydropyridine ring, and many times it is called as 1,4-dihydro, right? That is a position of hydrogen atoms which is substituted or added to the pyrimidine ring. Sorry, not substituted but added to the pyridine ring, that is at 1 and 4th position, right? So 1,4-dihydropyrimidine, pyridine. Then other subclasses of calcium channel blockers are diphenyl alkylamine, that is verapamil, and structure of verapamil is here. It includes the 2 phenyl ring, diaphenyl, 1 phenyl on the both hand, dimethoxyphenyl ring is present, OCH3, dimethoxyphenyl. Here dimethoxyphenyl ring are present, and that is linked by the amino group, tertiary amino group, right, which is attached by the alkyl group, right? So it is alkylamine and this is the diphenyl group. That's why diphenyl alkylamine. Then benzothiazepine, it includes the diltiazem, which contain the benzothiazepine ring. This one is the benzothiazepine ring. It includes the benzene ring, which is attached to the thiazepine ring, right? First of all, what is thiazepine ring? In azepine ring, it is 7-membered heterocyclic ring with 1 nitrogen atom. It is known as the azepine, right? In azepine ring, there is the presence of sulfur atom. That's why thiazepine ring, right? And this thiazepine ring is attached to the benzene ring. That's why benzothiazepine, right? Diltiazem is the benzothiazepine derivative. Last one is diaminopropanol derivative, bepriptyl. It contains the diamino group. See, one is here and one is here, and is see the carbon attached to the amino group, first, second and third. That's why it is propyl group, right? This propyl group attached to the 2 nitrogen atom and 1 oxygen. This is the oxygen from the alcoholic group, right? This oxygen is from the alcoholic group or H group, right? That's why it is known as the propanol. In this structure, this alcohol group is get substituted by alkyl group, right? So here only oxygen is present in place of hydrogen. This all alkyl group is attached, right? So it is propanol and this is attached to the 2-amine nitrogen. That's why diaminopropanol. Now, third main class of the antihypertensive agent is drugs acting on renin-angiotensin system. It is again 2 subclasses. First one is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. It is also known as the ACE inhibitors. right, known as the ACE inhibitors, that is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. Second one is angiotensin antagonist. See, first, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, that is ACE inhibitors, have the three different classes on the basis of main chemical moieties or chemical structure present in it. First one is sulfhydryl moiety, right, compound which contain the sulfhydryl molecule. It is the captopril. Second one is carboxylic acid moiety. Example are enalapril, quinapril, lisinopril and benazepril. Third one is phosphenyl moiety, which contain the phosphenyl structure into the ACE inhibitor. It is fosinopril. Right, so it is the ACE inhibitors: captopril, enalapril, quinapril, lisinopril, benazepril and fosinopril. Right. Now, see the example of angiotensin antagonist, that is losartan and iprosartan. Right, losartan and iprosartan. Now, structure of ACE inhibitors: captopril, which have the sulfhydryl moiety, that is SH group. Right, it contains the SH group. So it is correspond to the sulfhydryl derivative, then phosphenyl derivative, which contain this phosphate group. Right, that is fosinopril. Then carboxylic acid moiety. These four ACE inhibitors contain the carboxylic group in its structure. Here see, COOH group is present, here present in lisinopril, here COOH group is present, also here present, and benazepril contain here COOH group is attached. Right, all CO group attached to the aromatic ring or heteroaromatic ring. Right. Then angiotensin antagonist, losartan. This is the structure of losartan, which contain the imidazole ring, substituted imidazole ring, right, and this one is tetrazine ring. This one is tetrazine ring. Fourth main class of the antihypertensive agent is diuretics. Thiazides. Example: hydrochlorothiazide and chlorothiazide. High ceiling diuretics include furosemide and ethacrynic acid. Potassium sparing diuretics include spironolactone and amiloride. Right, here we see the shortly classification of diuretics, because we discussed diuretic structure in depth in another chapter, right, as a chapter, right, diuretics, not a part of this one, but as a chapter we will discuss about the diuretics. So that's why here only overview of the diuretics is taken. Structure: chlorothiazide, furosemide and spironolactone. Chlorothiazide contain the thiazide structure, then furosemide contain the furan ring in its structure, and spironolactone is the aldosterone derivative, that is that contain the steroid structure into its chemical structure. Thank you.